Car chases are dangerous and unpredictable. Viewer discretion advised.
And we're going to go to a live chase right now in progress over the 60 freeway. Stu Mundell in Sky 9 to tell us more. Stu.
Well, we can tell you what bits and pieces that we know. We can tell you that that black BMW there failing to yield. California Highway Patrol is chasing that vehicle, and he's moving at extremely high speeds. We're on the 60 freeway. We're getting very close to the 605, and we've been heading eastbound. We've been following this since about the 710. Now, we understand that earlier on, the Sheriff's Department was originally chasing or following this vehicle. They never turned on their lights and sirens. Soon as California Highway Patrol got in between them, turned on their lights and sirens, this black car took off, and you can see it right here. It's happening live. This is a BMW. Not sure the original want on this, but I can tell you this vehicle not stopping for the California Highway Patrol, doing better than freeway speeds, probably going about 80, maybe even 90 miles an hour at some points. California Highway Patrol in pursuit right now. We're going to try to work on the wants and warrants, meaning the reason why they're chasing this guy. Right now, though, this car continues to elude officers on the freeways this evening.
Hey, Stu, real quick, is he going eastbound or westbound there at that point?
We're going eastbound,
okay.
and we're approaching the 605. You can see how fast this car is moving, using all lanes right now. An older style BMW four-door can see California Highway Patrol. You got 2 of their units in pursuit right now, 3 units in pursuit, and this vehicle really kind of moving out. These speeds are better than highway speeds for sure. Right now, though, we're coming up on the 605. Was using that center lane. Whoa, cutting somebody off. Southbound 605. It looks like where we're going to be going. Definitely on the transition, northbound 605. And that's one of the reasons why they always wait a few minutes there when they get on those transition roads. Hitting the brakes a little bit. California Highway Patrol right behind him this evening. Looking at the traffic, though, getting a little bit tighter. This guy's going to have some maneuvering to do if he's going to keep that distance between him and those officers.
And Stu, you mentioned that originally the LA County Sheriff's Department was chasing this person in this BMW, and we don't know the original want, why they're running away from the CHP right now. Why didn't they turn on their lights and sirens? Any idea?
Well, you know, the law enforcement, they are very touchy on that P word, that pursuit word. Sheriff's Department was following this vehicle very closely. They were actually asking for backup. That light you're seeing right there, I believe, is still the sheriff's helicopter that came over and when it got overhead, turned on their light, was the one that's basically was watching what was going on. But they were asking for California Highway Patrol's assistance right from the get-go. So Sheriff's Department was following this vehicle earlier on. They never were in pursuit. Soon as that unit that you see right there, that California Highway Patrol, got behind it, he basically made that move, turned on those lights, and this car refused to stop. Actually kind of sped up. We kind of kept an eye on it for just a few minutes just to make sure there was no mistake what was going on here, and there wasn't any. Northbound 605 now from the 60 freeway. This car going about 90 miles an hour. We know at least the driver's in there. That's a given. But we don't know if there's anybody else inside that vehicle, and we're still trying to work on those original wants and warrants. But this guy this evening, keeping that distance between him and those officers.
Okay, Stu, well, we do have some information to update you on related to this pursuit going on right now here live on KCAL 9. We understand our assignment desk has said that the want on this vehicle is for a stolen vehicle. This is a live pursuit here on KCAL 9, going about 80, 90 miles per hour, northbound 605. And Susie, it appears there are about 3 CHP cruisers in pursuit.
That's right. This just started about 5 minutes ago for us, and Stu picked this up around the 710 freeway along the 60 freeway. Now we're on the northbound 605 going on the 10 freeway. Stu, any idea if this person is slowing down at all? Looks like he's keeping up the speeds, if not going. Oof, that's really close right there.
Right. Hard on the brakes there, changing his mind at the last moment, it looks like. I'm not sure if we have established. Yeah, we are definitely established eastbound 10 freeway after he made that rough transition there, getting into a lot of traffic. Those types of maneuvers, that's what's going to keep these officers on their toes. They are concerned about public safety. They don't want to see this vehicle hurt any innocent people. They also want to make sure that that driver is safe, even though he is being pursued. And then, of course, officer safety also is something that they're thinking about. Right now, though, those speeds very, very high. It's an older model BMW, but still, don't be fooled by that. Still would fall into a performance vehicle. But you saw with the driver, not a professional, was pushing that vehicle, skidding out there a little bit as it made that transition onto the eastbound 10. Now, you can see him hard on the brakes right there. Looks like we got a little bit of traffic coming up. People trying to get out of his way this evening. We do have traffic, and a little bit thicker traffic as we're working our way eastbound 10 as we're going to be getting out in past the El Monte area. Right now, though, California Highway Patrol in force, several units out here, as we are being told, as you said, stolen vehicle. This guy driving it like he stole it. Hopefully he won't hurt anybody this evening, but this pursuit continues out here, probably going about 80, maybe 90 miles an hour. California Highway Patrol right behind this guy. Now we're going to be eastbound 10 freeway getting into the Covinas.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what the procedure is for police officers in traffic like this, Stu, because it's starting to thicken up a little bit. We have somebody that's driving 80, 90 miles an hour. You know, we talk about the pit maneuver. I mean, obviously, these are speeds that are pretty high. They can't do anything at that speed, can they?
Yeah. Well, you know, Jeff, that would be extremely dangerous for everybody involved to do any kind of pit maneuver at any speeds of over, I think it's probably 30, 40 miles an hour. You know, I get those questions a lot. From other people. We understand right now, just entering the Baldwin Park area, if you're just joining us, pursuit, we're going about 95 miles an hour. I can tell you Sky 9 this evening, tracking this vehicle, 95 miles an hour across the ground, so that's about his speed. California Highway Patrol, their options right now, pretty tight. They're going to be worried about officer safety. They're going to be worried about the public safety. As this vehicle continues to barrel down the freeway this evening, older style BMW, they're saying it's a stolen vehicle. What can they do to stop this? Well, right now they're just going to stay behind it. They're going to get as much information as they can about that driver, try to figure out what his wants are, or what his drive is besides that BMW this evening. You know, this type of stuff, very, very dangerous. What they can do right now is lights and sirens, the helicopter's light. That's about all they can do, kind of warn the people ahead of them that, you know, this is coming. Public safety is definitely is priority one for any law enforcement, especially when they're going 97 is what we're tracking this guy at this evening. Now, that's not an exact number, but I'm telling you, we're basically got this car right out our door. My pilot, John, this evening holding the helicopter, very steady out here, and we're doing 97, 98 miles an hour across the ground. That's from a GPS, so those numbers pretty solid. You can see California Highway Patrol swapping out cars right now. That's a different unit that's getting up behind him right there. Baldwin Park is where we are. We're going to be coming up, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, right, taking the emergency lane to make those moves at these high speeds, very, very dangerous, threading the needle. This car not slowing down. California Highway Patrol going to stay right behind them. We're coming up on the West Covina area right now. We got the malls up ahead. Traffic, about what you see now. It is out here. It's a little sporadic, but you know, if somebody could get panicked, there could be something happening. Very dangerous situation for sure.
If you're just joining us here on KCAL 9 News at 8, we are following a live pursuit in progress right now in the city of West Covina. This all started as when we picked it up in the San Gabriel area, or near the 605 and the 710 freeway along the 60 freeway. The driver in this black four-door older model BMW then transitioned onto the northbound 605 and then onto the eastbound 10 freeway, where he or she is going at speeds at up to 97 miles per hour, 98 miles per hour. And you can see no regard to the safety of other drivers, just flying across these lanes. Stu, again, you mentioned the LA County Sheriff's Department originally following, not pursuing this vehicle without their lights and sirens on. Do you have any idea if they were actually doing this on surface roads first? Because it's the LA County Sheriff's Department, so that leads me to believe that it started on surface streets.
You know, we picked it up and it was already it was established on the 10 freeway out over by the USC Medical Center out in the Baldwin Park area. That was the area where we kind of picked it up. We didn't actually have the vehicle until he made that transition off the 710 onto the 60 freeway. That was the first time we actually saw the car itself. They had one unit right behind it, and that was a Sheriff's Department vehicle. And, you know, he did not have his lights on. They were what they were calling following. They were getting their ducks in a row. go. They can't just get one unit behind a car like that and turn on their lights. They need to get their backup. They have procedures that they have to follow, and they were doing what they by the book. Okay, it was on the freeways. They decided to give it to the California Highway Patrol. California Highway Patrol, happy to take it over, got between those two cars as he was supposed to, turned on those lights and sirens, and it was on and cooking. This guy really moving along out here. We're going to start that climb up here as we're going to be climbing up over the on the 10 freeway. We're going to be coming up on that steep hill, going to be getting over to the Pomona area, using that emergency lane once again. You know, you got to think that that person in that car that he just passed, you know, you're driving along, you know that's the emergency lane, and you see a car passing, it's going to catch you off guard. We haven't seen anybody jerk or make those violent moves as this car has been passing him. Going up this hill, his speed's slowing down a little bit. That California Highway Patrol vehicle not really slowing down. You can see he's gaining on him right there, actually putting a little bit of closing that gap between them. Even if he does get up right on him, we're not going to see any kind of contact, especially at these speeds. Right now, though, California Highway Patrol pursuing this stolen vehicle, lights and sirens, trying to get the public aware, knowing that this is coming their direction, trying to keep the public safe, and we're watching along. Hopefully, nobody's going to be hurt this evening, but this older style BMW, stolen, is really still keeping the distance and moving along out here as we're leaving the West Covina area, and we're going to start heading out towards the 57. We've seen a lot of transitions this evening as this person's been on the freeways, but we're going to be entering the Pomona area regardless. As we start making our way down that hill, I wonder if he's going to pick up speed. Yeah, we're just going to recap here: El Monte, Baldwin Park, San Gabriel, West Covina, and heading into Pomona now as we continue to follow this pursuit here live on KCAL 9. This is a stolen vehicle, four-door BMW being pursued by CHP right now. It's initially a stolen vehicle and was found by the Sheriff's Department of LA, and they pursued that vehicle. It was on the 10 freeways, northbound 605, and now eastbound 10 freeway. And this is where we are right now, going anywhere from 80 to 90 to 98 miles per hour. And the driver is taking pretty aggressive, turning off the headlights there for some reason, but was taking the emergency lane and the shoulder, going at speeds of, as we mentioned, 80, 90 miles an hour, as you can see the chopper following overhead as well. That's right. We got the LA County Sheriff's Department chopper over, as well as ours as well in Sky 9. And then we have the CHP following. As we mentioned, this originally started as a following by the LA County Sheriff's Department of a stolen car. Looks like we're going to be heading near the 57 transition freeway pretty soon here. But, you know, as Jeff was mentioning, this has been a very dangerous situation for drivers out there, as they always are when pursuits reach speeds of up to what Stu was mentioning, 98 miles per hour, close to 100 miles per hour this driver has been clocking, going in and out of lanes, Jeff. The emergency lanes, speeding down lanes, and when transitioning off to a different freeway, just, you know, really dangerous and reckless maneuvers. Yeah, we saw that one maneuver. He put on his brakes to avoid hitting the car. Yeah. Thankfully, he didn't hit a car, but he was going into an on-ramp. Yeah, we passed the 57. And so let's go back upstairs to Stu Mundell live in Sky 9. Now, Stu, we had 3 officers following. Is that the situation as you kind of have a tight shot on this vehicle? How's the, yeah, let's take a look. We've got, looks like there are more than 3 at this point in time. You know, at one point we understand there were up to 6 California Highway Patrol vehicles behind it or in the area as this pursuit continues on. We're getting into the Pomona area right now, continuing on the 10 freeway this evening. We passed the 57. He did not take that interchange and basically staying with these center lanes. You know, it was kind of unusual. I mean, I'm glad you pointed that out, Jeff. I saw those lights turn on, off and on when you said that. I was like, did he turn off his lights? Yeah, and he did. Don't know what that was all about. You know, gosh, you got to kind of wonder what's going through any of these people's minds. Yeah, maybe he was, you know, and you know, you just don't know. I mean, we can't play any kind of psychiatrist at all. These guys, they are running from authorities. They've probably got a lot on their minds. Hopefully, they're paying attention to what's ahead of them and other vehicles, using that carpool lane, getting across those carpool lanes right there. Speeds have slowed down a little bit. I mean, we're probably more like 70, 80 now. We've dropped out of those 90s. That big hill might have been what slowed it down. Not really sure. Right now, though, California Highway Patrol right behind him. We're making our way out of the Pomona area. Our next big city is going to be Montclair. California Highway Patrol Patrol still out here in force. We saw a couple of those officers. We actually saw them do that swap out earlier on. That's, you know, because we're going from division to division, like LAPD has divisions, or the Sheriff's Department has divisions. California, they have the same thing. They've got a beat that they follow out here on the freeways, and when they enter or leave those areas, those officers, they swap it out, and that's what we've been watching out here. Now, we've got that vehicle right behind them there. You know, Jeff brought that question up earlier on. What are they going to do to stop this guy? You know, that's the thing. They don't really have anything that they can throw out there in front of them, especially on the freeways. We've seen sometimes when they're going a little bit slower that they'll try to use some spike strips or something like that. In this case, there's way too much other traffic out here on the freeway. So right now, it's just kind of a follow along. That guy in the back car, the stolen vehicle, is going to lead the officers where he's going. We're all going to watch. California Highway Patrol, though, they've got a job to do, and they're going to keep an eye on that. They're trying to keep the public safe, and then they're also going to try to get this guy in custody. Not an easy job at all, but this evening, continuing on, we're going to be entering the Claremont-Montclair area. This is on the 10 freeway, eastbound. This pursuit continues to elude California Highway Patrol this evening. Yeah,
in the Montclair area and headed into the in the Ontario area now, Stu. This guy, obviously, we don't know why they're running. It could be just for the stolen vehicle. There could be other offenses that we don't know about, and also evading police, for one. That's certainly one of them. And another charge that will be filed will be a stolen car. And we have no idea, Stu, still whether or not this person has a passenger or passengers.
You know, that's one of the things I've been trying to listen. We've been peeking in there every now and then. I see some sort of glow down there. At first I thought maybe he had like an iPad or something going on, but it may just be the reflection of the lights through the car. But I definitely can make out the one guy in there. Sometimes we see him on the phone or fidgeting around. This guy seems to be driving. That's what he seems to be doing. We're going to move the helicopter around probably a little bit, try to take a peek in there. We haven't heard anything using that gore point. Once again, maybe he was thinking about getting off the freeway. Maybe he wasn't paying attention. But right now, though, he's not choosing an off-ramp. You can see California Highway Patrol down there. He got 4 vehicles behind him, officers behind him. And of course, if this continues on, they're going to be swapping out sooner or later. Right now, though, you can see those officers working their way around the traffic. This car's still passing all the other cars on the freeway. So speed's definitely faster than 60, 65, probably faster than 70 right now. But this car continues just to go, go, go. Right now, though, we're moving along, getting established in the Montclair area. This is going to be eastbound 10 freeway. This person not looking in his rearview mirror much, watching what's out front, but sooner or later, this is going to have to come to an end.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the strategy of the CHP here, because you see that lead vehicle right behind this stolen vehicle live here on KCAL 9. That is an SUV. There are a couple of the cruisers, though, behind him. So the strategy has got to be have that heavier SUV right behind that suspect vehicle, Stu?
You know, that's pretty much the standard vehicle right now for the California Highway Patrol. Most of their vehicles are going to be those Ford Explorers. You know, if the speeds slow down, or there is an opportunity where they can block this suspect in safely, those officers will do that. We have seen them in the past. We've seen them use those vehicles. Not as you know, battering ram might be a little bit too harsh of a word, but let's just say gently tapping that suspect's vehicle into submission. They do have those heavier bumpers on there. These vehicles are designed to be roughed up a little bit as it would be. At these speeds, though, we won't see anything like that. If it does slow down to speeds of like 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, we may see some aggressive moves like that. For the most part right now, that officer that's right behind him is probably trying to close that gap just to stay close enough if this suspect does make a quick move, that they're able to make that quick move as well. And also the lights and sirens, that's what they're doing. That's the only thing they have right now to warn the people in the area that something's coming through, that they've got emergency vehicles, they have a situation moving across the freeway out here. So that's why they're right there in force. We're kind of watching those two vehicles right there, wondering if they're going to do a swap out. But right now, though, this suspect just continues to drive. You know, a lot of times these are last moments of freedom for these guys, so they're just going to drive it out. Let's drag it out as long as they can. You know, they've got. Well, how often have we ever seen somebody get away. You know, admittedly we have, but for the most part, even if they did get away for the moment, they always get caught later on.
Yeah, and we always say this, Stu, at some point it's a gas car. They're going to run out of gasoline.
Eventually, you know, but some of these cars, you know, if they got a full tank of gas, they could go hundreds of miles. Hopefully it won't be one of those type of pursuits right now, though. This car is still moving along at a pretty good clip. We're going to be tracking him right now. Going to do some button pushing. We're going 77 miles an hour across the ground right now. So he's probably going about 70, about that as well. California Highway Patrol right behind him there. It looks like we might be moving over here. They might, nope, change his mind again. But it does seem like maybe he's looking for an off-ramp out here in the Montclair area. I'm sorry, the Claremont area. I'm going to get an exact location for you. And if he does get off Upland, we're in Upland already. Look how does time fly when you're chasing somebody, chasing a stolen vehicle. We're in the Upland area, eastbound 10 freeway. If he gets off the freeway, we'll get you that off-ramp right away.
Yeah, of course, that kind of shows a little bit of the desperation that these individuals have. This is a stolen vehicle. You have the suspect behind the wheel and not showing a whole lot of erratic behavior other than taking that emergency lane at high speeds. That one almost sideswiping a vehicle as they get onto the shoulder or onto a ramp of a highway earlier.
No.
Other than that, now they're turning the light back off for some reason. I don't understand why. You just wonder if they're experimenting with the car, but also if it's desperation on their part to find some way to kind of shake off the police. And of course, they're not going to be able to do that. And, you know, this is a point in time where you just wonder what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and now the lights are back on. This has been happening throughout this pursuit where they've been turning their lights off and on. We want to take you through a timeline of what we've been watching so far here on KCAL 9 News at 8 tonight. Breaking news on KCAL 9. Live Sky 9 pictures overhead of a high-speed pursuit that's reached miles of up to, or speeds of up to 98 miles per hour. It started in the Baldwin Park area. As far as we know, that's where we picked it up. Then through the Covina, West Covina, Montclair,
we're here.
Claremont, Ontario, and we really haven't seen this person slow down. The CHP has been in pursuit of this vehicle for more than half an hour now, and along the 60 freeway near the 710 in Baldwin Park is where we picked it up. The LA County Sheriff's Department was originally following this vehicle for it was a stolen vehicle, but we don't know about other offenses that this driver or the passengers, that we don't know if there are passengers in this car, but perhaps they did as a group commit. We have no idea, but you know, they didn't turn their lights on, the Sheriff's Department, originally because they were just following this car, and then they asked for the backup of the California Highway Patrol. And the LA County Sheriff's Department chopper is still overhead along with ours, and multiple CHP units are behind this stolen vehicle. Again, it's unclear though if the driver is alone.
Well, there's at least somebody in there turning on and off the lights. You wonder if that's a generator or a battery issue, if they're just I don't know, thinking that if they turn on and off the lights, the police will go away, which they won't, of course. But we continue to follow this live pursuit here on KCAL 9, Stu Medels and Sky 9. I understand we just went flying by the Ontario airport during this chase just a few minutes ago.
We're right in that area right now. Archibald is the next major off-ramp. We used the mighty lens out here on Sky 9 this evening, trying to get a real close look in there. It does appear just to be the driver. There could be somebody in the back seat, but probably not very likely. Does seem to be just the driver, and maybe one of the reasons, and that's all we got right now is maybe one of the reasons those lights are coming off and on is it seems like he's turning the dome light off and on. Maybe he's, like you said, unfamiliar with the car, trying to turn the lights on. That glow definitely was at least a smartphone. We did see that glow earlier on when we got that real doubled up shot that we've got right now. We could see him momentarily inside the vehicle, him using that phone, or I don't know if he's using it to contact somebody or possibly he's using it for navigation, but that might be what's going on right there. That's the reason why we got this super tight shot right now. He does seem to be favoring that those right-hand lanes, so that kind of makes you wonder if he's going to be trying to get off the freeway, or perhaps he's looking for something out here this evening. Definitely going to be in the in the Ontario area right now. We've just passed Archibald. I believe the next major we're coming up on is going to be Haven. But he does seem to be, he was in the middle over there. Now he's, excuse me, he was on the right-hand side. Looked like he was going to try to get off the freeway. Now he's kind of using those middle lanes. California Highway Patrol right behind him right there. That lights on-off thing, that's kind of odd. And now I just kind of realizing, you know, the traffic's starting to lighten up a little bit. This car's starting to slow down a little bit. maybe something's going on with that vehicle. But right now, this guy's still trying to drive, still trying to keep that distance. California Highway Patrol, oddly enough, right there behind him. And, you know, they're going to stay there until this person is in custody and that car has come to a complete stop.
Yeah, somebody's going to spend 2017 in jail when this is all wrapped up, because this guy, at this point in time, has gone quite a ways. Let's just give you an update on how many cities he's gone through at this point in time. Again, this is a stolen vehicle, a police pursuit, speeds up to 98 miles per hour. We're currently on the eastbound 10 freeway. This individual has gone through El Monte, Baldwin Park, San Gabriel, West Covina, Pomona, Montclair, Ontario, and I guess up next would be Fontana if we get that far. We're in Ontario at this point in time.
That's right. And if we get into the Fontana area, then Rialto and San Bernardino after that. I mean, that's a long ways to go still, but still.
Coming up on the 15.
That's right. Right there on the 15 and then the 215 after that. I mean, right there is where it all kind of intersects there. And this is going to be a long pursuit if this driver does continue, Stu, because like you said, there was no traffic really in the Ontario airport area where we might expect some traffic, maybe holiday traffic right now at this point, but not the case tonight. And if this person keeps going east, well, no really areas where you can really hit traffic at this point unless there's some construction going on, right, Stu?
Well, right now it's been wide open, and one of the reasons is because California Highway Patrol is holding a little bit of traffic. We're going to be approaching the 15 freeway. We're going to cross that right there, and that's one of the reasons why I got this wide shot. You can see other officers from the California Highway Patrol. They have the actual on-ramp blocked right there. The 15 is coming up, so we're unclear if he's going to try to take that 15, but it also gives makes the roadway a lot less hectic, a lot less other vehicles on the road there. That might open up the possibilities for some aggressive moves from the California Highway Patrol vehicles, because they don't have to worry that much about the public in their way or around this vehicle. It's coming up here on the 15. It looks like we're going to be taking the 15. We'll see which way it goes here in just a moment. But now it does look like, whoop, changing his mind. Whoa!
Oh,
going across that gore point right there, and the officers from the California Highway Patrol right there behind him. You know, so, and now looks like we're going to try something else right here. So maybe this is going to be the southbound 15. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but that was a little bit of an odd move right there, seeing if he's going to be taking this other one. Car, though, really seems to be slowing it down more and more and more. It might just be an illusion, but I really think that that car is not moving as fast as it used to be. So, is that a mechanical reason? Is that something other than that? I don't know. But that move that he just made right there is putting him back in with some traffic. So if they had that window of opportunity, California Highway Patrol, that window of opportunity is probably closing right now because they have other vehicles back there on the roadway. This car speeding up a little bit now, and I'll get you a direction of travel here in just a second.
Yeah, you just got to wonder, because the headlights continue to flicker on and off, if it's some sort of electrical issue, maybe the battery or the generator or something like that, and maybe that's what's slowing that car down a little bit. And that would be great if that was some sort of mechanical issue that was able to slow that guy down to the point where he would have to stop, and then they could take him into custody without anybody getting injured.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe the person, this is a stolen vehicle, so doesn't know how to operate the lights properly. Who knows? But, you know, as you were mentioning, Jeff, there's nothing really, you know, Stu was talking to too, about that there are few options for the CHP at this point except to pursue, especially at speeds like this. You know, on surface streets, I think they have a lot more options. They can put out spike strips. They can try a pit maneuver. But at this point, there are very few options, right, Stu?
Very few indeed. And, you know, the public safety, that's their number one. You know, but right now, though, southbound 15, I've been getting that question quite a bit. Everybody seems to know it is the southbound 15 freeway. We're going to be coming up on the 60. So we've seen sometimes, you know, they make these big, huge blocks, and we might be working our way back towards where he started. Gosh only knows. Right now, though, I can tell you southbound 15 freeway going to be still technically in the Ontario area. Looks like he's choosing some of those middle lanes again. The speeds, though, not as fast as before. That's the only thing I can say for sure. Really kind of keeping that just about the freeway speeds. The Highway Patrol, they are not going to be able to do that pit maneuver at these speeds, especially with that vehicle. Even if the freeway is empty, it's just too dangerous for the officers and also that suspect. That car could spin out, could hit that center divider. Gosh only knows. I mean, we could go on and on. But right now, though, this car continues manages to keep that distance between itself and those officers. He was driving it like he stole it. We saw him hit those gore points, come off that, go across that roadway, dirt back onto the freeway. But right now, though, speed's really kind of subdued for what we saw earlier on. Southbound 15, we're going to be coming up here on the 60, but it looks like he's really kind of favoring that those left-hand lanes, but we've seen him make those crazy moves in the past, so we'll keep an eye on it. Right now, though, still approaching the 60. Right now, staying on that 15 south.
Yeah, this is a live pursuit here on KCAL9 and KCAL9.com as we continue to follow this stolen vehicle. It started quite a while ago, just about
half an hour
near
ago,
the top of the hour, right? Just about 10 minutes in. It is now 8:39. This has gone through cities of El Monte, Baldwin Park, San Gabriel, West Covina, Pomona, Montclair, and now in Ontario.
Stu, is it me or is it there are no cars on that freeway along with that driver right now and the CHP?
Well, right now, this guy, because of his slower speeds, this isn't the California Highway Patrol blocking on-ramps onto the freeway. We did see that earlier on, but this is actually just this vehicle driving a little bit slower than the freeway speeds. That's what's creating that big cushion between that vehicle and other vehicles on the roadway. California Highway Patrol, though, they are not just going, oh, hey, look, he's obeying the law right now, we're just going to let this go. Not a chance. That's not going to happen ever. Right now, though, he's continuing on. We're going to be going southbound on the 15 freeway, going to be getting into the Eastvale area. Just kind of think Chino. I know Eastvale, if you live in that neighborhood, that's a great place to be, but it's not one of those very popular names when you say it out loud. Right now, though, we're continuing on here. I'm going to get you some kind of speeds, at least what we're doing here in the helicopter this evening, kind of just tracking along. 75 miles an hour is what we got, so maybe he's going about 70, 75, but that's still creating that cushion. There's a lot less cars around him. The California Highway Patrol, if the vehicle does start to slow down and maybe get to like the 30-mile-an-hour range, we might see some of those aggressive moves. We might try to see them bump that rear end, spin that car around. Other than that, there's an opportunity that with this kind of cushion that they might be able to pull something out of their bag of tricks. And you know, California Highway Patrol, law enforcement, they've got quite a bit. Jeff, those lights are off again, but the marker lights are on, so it's kind of interesting. You got to wonder what's going on, and then you can see that cell phone lighting up inside there. Lights are back on again. Don't know what that's all about. Well, maybe someday we'll figure it out, but right now, this car eluding officers, not much of a joke here at all. This is a criminal, the stolen vehicle, refusing to stop for law enforcement this evening. Started way out in the Boyle Heights area. Right now, we're still going to be southbound on the 15 freeway, getting into the Chino area. So it's been a long drive. Nobody's been injured, but this car continues just to keep going on these freeways this evening.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, Stu, because we're talking about the strategy related to the speeds, how they're kind of limited to what they can do because of the speeds and the danger of the situation. This vehicle at one point in time getting up to about 98 miles an hour. It's slowed down quite a bit since then, but still highway speeds, they can't do much. So if when it comes to a long chase like this, I mean, obviously they don't just go away. Do they just continue following this and trading this out and going to different jurisdictions and whatnot, and they just continue to follow this individual as far as they go?
You know, Jeff, I always kind of wonder what the allure is, of watching one of these chases, and I think that's part of it, is nobody really knows how this is going to end. Nobody has any idea where this is going to go, how this is going to come to an end, what desperate moves this person's going to do. You know, I've actually had a friend of mine one time tell me, you know why we love these pursuits? It's the good and evil. It's that battle between good and evil. I think that's a little too deep for this right now. This is just a guy in a stolen car that just doesn't want to stop. But we don't know where he's going. We don't know how it's going to end. And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the lures that the people watch. And what is law enforcement going to do? How are they going to stop this? Well, we've seen them in the end sometimes make these crazy moves. We've watched them. They get off an off ramp and then they make those aggressive moves out here. I've been corrected several times in my ear. I was saying Chino. I know Chino Airport's out here, but we are actually getting into the Corona area. The next big freeway is going to be the 91. At these slower speeds, it's going to be a little bit longer before we get there. That car, though, continues to go. Got to wonder, how much gas does he have? California Highway Patrol, gas is not an issue. One of those cars gets low, they get out of their jurisdiction, they're going to go ahead and somebody else is going to take over. So they're going to stay behind this guy, regardless. He's in there this evening, he's flipping his lights on and off, he's driving along, wonder if he's got the cruise control going, what he's listening to. Hopefully it's KNX. But you know, right now, this guy just kind of hugging that right lane, and makes you wonder, maybe an off-ramp coming up as we're getting into the Corona area. But you know, it just continues to go out here this evening. A lot less traffic, but still the same old scene. This guy's just driving, and California Highway Patrol right there in force. They want this guy to stop.
Yeah, so many questions still remain tonight about this driver. We have no idea where he or she is going to go next. If he does choose the 91 freeway, I mean, obviously going east will hit the Corona area right now, but we'll go east to Riverside, and 91 West will take you back to Orange County. So it should be very interesting to see. But you know, oftentimes, Jeff, we see these drivers sometimes go back to their neighborhoods, go back to where they live, and you know, try a foot bail in their own neighborhood after they've driven through the residential areas. But you know, maybe this driver is smart. Who knows that, you know, that he or she doesn't want to go back to the residential streets because of the fact that the CHP has more options, as we were talking about. Maybe, you know, trying a pit maneuver or trying the spike strips, you know, right here on the freeway.
No, we're getting close.
They're at least, as long as they don't run out of gas, they're going to keep going and not run into any of those challenges, obstacles.
Or maybe, and maybe this person is just too far away from where their home is to get back there, obviously, because you know, we don't even know how long this individual behind the wheel of this stolen car has been in this stolen car. Now it looks like we're taking an off-ramp. Now, it seems like that vehicle is slowing down because, was there a low tire that I saw on the back part of the vehicle earlier?
We're wondering the same thing. That was just a discussion in here. We're going to get it. We're getting off the freeway. We're going to get you an off ramp here in just a second.
The left
makes
rear,
you kind of wonder. I saw something roll. I saw something roll across the roadway. Makes you wonder if the front tire is not completely gone. He's on the rim. It is the front driver's tire, completely on the rim right now. This car, you know, it's probably a 5 Series. Can't guarantee that right now. 5 Series BMW. You know, it's a pretty solid vehicle, but with 3 tires, maybe not so solid. Right now, though, you can see he's down to 1 rim right there on the front. Looks like he's driving around. It looks like this may be coming to an end, pulling into a gas station. We've seen this in the past where they've kind of just driven around out here. If he doesn't do anything too incredibly aggressive, this might just come to an end. But he's driving very, very slowly out here. We see some other vehicles that appear to be officer law enforcement type vehicles. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Making that big U-turn right now. Worried, the reason why I'm getting a little bit wider is I'm worried that he's going to be approaching a California Highway Patrol vehicle. Right now, though, this would be the time when California Highway Patrol would jump out there and use that pit maneuver, but it does look like he's just kind of driving around, choosing these weird, parking lot areas out here, just kind of driving very slowly. California Highway Patrol, there we go, and just coming to a stop out here at a Wiener Schnitzel. Hands out right there. You can see the officers just telling them, shut it down, shut it down. An unusual end to this, but it's not over yet. We're going to move the Sky 9 around just a little bit out here, but looks like it's coming to an end as in the Norco area off the 15 freeway.
And again, this is live television here on KCAL 9 News Today. Breaking news, this seems to be the end of a stolen car pursuit that started in Boyle Heights near County USC. This is almost 50 miles away from where we picked up this pursuit in Boyle Heights. And it looks like the officers with the CHP have their guns drawn right now behind their doors. Looks like the driver is getting out of that vehicle right now. And as far as we know, that driver has been alone in that vehicle this entire time, Jeff. Yeah,
this driver that you see here that's getting down on his knees, we understand that he's the driver in this vehicle. I believe police officers are going to ask him to put his face down on the concrete. They're going to come up, they're going to handcuff him. He's going to spend 2017, he's going to start off, he's crawling towards the officers at their request. He's going to spend the new year in jail. And this, at one point in time, was a fairly aggressive driver going onto the shoulder, the emergency lane, almost sideswiping a car as he was going onto an on-ramp, and then also was switching from an exit to a main road quite aggressively at high speeds, about 98 miles an hour.
And looks like he crawled his way at the command of CHP right up to their vehicle there, as they still have their guns drawn, and looks like they're getting the handcuffs on this guy.
It looks like they're looking at the vehicle still. I wonder if there's somebody inside the vehicle
Yeah, it's
yet.
a good question.
'Cause
Stu, can we pull out a little bit just to see if there's anyone else coming out of that vehicle? I know that was still a question.
Well, they certainly have to clear the vehicle before they find out if there's anybody in there or not, and they're probably going to do that next. But you can see the officers' guns now trained on the car. After that is the driver of the suspect vehicle wanted for a stolen vehicle that is being taken away at this point in time.